Welcome, everyone. It is another episode of The Elevator Show, where we look at who in the last 30 days made their Hall of Fame case go up in the elevator to press the button going down on the elevator. And imagine this Hall of Fame, whatever Hall of Fame it may be, as this great, amazing building. And when you get to the top, I always envision, I've said this to you before, Chris, but I sort of envision it's Michael Clark Duncan or possibly Debo, which would be Tiny Lister. And he's sort of right there. And I don't care how big a player you are, you're not getting past one of these men. You know what? They're both there. They're both right there. They're holding that rope open, whether you're going to get in or not, because you can still make it to the top floor. Doesn't mean you're getting in. But we're just talking about who's going to see these people. I'm Kirk Buchner along with Chris Mouradian, and this is a Not in Hall of Fame production. Chris, you and I are going to see a lot of each other this week.
Yeah, we got a pretty busy week coming up here, don't we?
We do. Tomorrow we're recording a baseball roundtable show. I've got a couple extra guests who are coming.
Nice.
Hopefully they'll make it. Some people you've never met before, so
okay, cool.
That'll be pretty cool. And on Wednesday we're going to have our announcement show. That's none of these are live, so but hopefully they're going to go up in order. The announcement for the United States Athletic Hall of Fame voting is ending in a few hours, and I'm pretty sure we've seen an uptick in the last couple of days. I've been really active promoting on Twitter.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of the tweets going out there or posts now going out there on X. So happy to see it. Tried to share where I could and add in where I could as well. So a lot of excitement here coming up to the end, and we're gonna see who the class is here in a couple of days.
Yeah, we don't
time
know.
in a few days, longer.
I have a vague idea of a couple spots, but I haven't looked. I don't even have access to it. My webmaster does. He did tell me that we're up over 26,500 votes.
That's excellent. I saw one of your shares this afternoon. Amy Trask also responded back to it, which was really cool.
Yeah. She's on the ballot for the contributors class, and it's really sort of neat to see. You kind of get this respect for Raider Nation. Just sort of the way, because Amy Trask was the first major female CEO in any big team history, Big Four history. I'm pretty sure that's accurate. And
you're right,
as a couple of her supporters says, that's our Princess of Darkness.
That's right.
Amy does not look like a goth girl.
No.
But very much beloved. I know our friend Wayne Mabry, aka the Violator, speaks very highly of her. So it's a Raider Nation. That's something I've sort of come to learn when talking to Wayne quite a bit. They don't care what you are, what you look like, as long as you sort of bleed black and silver.
That's right.
Which
they stick together and they help each other. That's right.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool community. I can and poor Wayne's got to travel to Vegas all the time now.
Yeah,
which is I believe he's in Central California. I don't know. I'll have to ask him. Hopefully we'll have him on Wednesday. But anyway, this you've got I think I've got a few more than you do. So I guess maybe I'll begin if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Yeah, because we don't tell each other. We just tell each other how many, but we don't tell each other whom.
Yeah.
This one I'm not going to belabor too much because we've already talked about this quite a bit. And and for myself, sort of ad nauseum, because I had 3 shows on the semifinalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But I just want to point out the biggest winner again out of those who made it to the semis. For me, that's Philip Rivers. Because I don't consider him a lock in any stretch. I think for him being a first ballot semifinalist is huge, especially with what's coming at that position. We haven't seen a whole lot of quarterback, since we've really done deep dive, or since you and I have been doing a lot of these. There hasn't been any surefire quarterback until maybe last year with Eli Manning, and that's a debate that has gone on and on and on. But with Drew Brees, yes, but now we have Philip Rivers, who's got the stats, but doesn't have the Super Bowl. You don't need a Super Bowl to get into as a quarterback. Dan Marino is proof of that. But Philip Rivers for me, as great as his stats are, it's a harder sell for me personally. I need to see an MVP. I need to see an offensive player of the year. He's been, I think he finished as high as third once. But the fact that he got this, I think helps him more than anybody else. Because a lot of our other first-time semifinalists are ahead of him in a queue. And we've already also talked about a lot of the people we're very, very happy about who finally made it as a first-time semifinalist. Lomas Brown, for example, I believe in year 19.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin Williams, yes, but I think the person that this is the biggest for, because with all due respect to Lomas Brown, I don't see how he's going to get in. I'd like to see it, but I don't see it happening based on patterns we've seen before.
Yeah, Lomas, not to sidetrack too much here, but
I'm pretty much
he's probably somebody that will get some attention this year, maybe next year, and hopefully that carries over to a senior ballot where I think he can do a lot better, where they can really kind of dissect his career and how much he really helped those Lions teams that weren't the Lions that we know today. They were kind of a rough group back then. They had Barry Sanders, but that was really about it for their team. So to speak to Philip Rivers here, though, 8 Pro Bowls, 3 top 5 in the Offensive Player of the Year award, did have a Comeback Player of the Year award. But you're right, no major awards, no MVPs, no postseason awards as far as Super Bowl or even playoff, much in the playoffs here. He's got the numbers that are gonna keep him in the conversation here, but I think he's behind Breeze and Manning on this ballot, and then with guys like Roethlisberger, Brady coming up down the road here, and then a few years down the road after that, a guy like Aaron Rodgers. So
Russell Wilson,
Matthew Stafford. I mean, there's going to be a lot of Matt Ryan, another one there that's going to be right in that conversation. There, it's going to be we got the logjam of wide receivers right now. It's going to be a logjam of very good quarterbacks that the selection committee is going to have a tough time kind of sorting through here for a while. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm with you though. I'm happy for him to get this far, especially this first ballot. We'll see where he ultimately goes this year and how it carries him forward.
All right, sorry everyone. For those listening, you won't see this, but Winnie the Mini Dachshund has decided she wants to say hello. Unfortunately, with Winnie, she has to sort of like stay around here because if she gets down, she's going to start barking at nothing. You do that, don't you? She does that.
All good.
Yeah. So I think, you can sort of agree with me or why I sort of like thought this was the biggest for Rivers. Because if he didn't get there, who knows when he is for the semifinal. But yeah, do you want to do one of yours next?
Yeah, I'll throw a elevator up here for you.
Sure.
I'm gonna go to the ice here with hockey, and we got Brad Marchand.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So, right, he came in here earlier this month and scored his 1,000th career point. So, just another step on the ladder towards the Pro Hockey Hall of Fame here for Brad. He's got the Stanley Cup wins now with both Boston and Florida. He's scoring points. I think he's somebody that probably was already there, but if not, achieving that 1,000-point milestone, I believe really cements his legacy here as both super pest and an actual scorer in the league. And with the hardware of the cups, I think that's kind of elevates him using the elevator here.
Yeah, and just an all-around great player. Florida and their rival the last 2 years, Edmonton, are both struggling. I can't say that their slow starts really shock me. I'd be shocked if they don't get into the round of 16. It's there's just a lot of things that sort of have to work their way out. Sorry, just a side question here. If you're the GM of Team Canada, are you putting in Macklin Celebrini on your team?
I'd have to see what the options are.
Mhm.
He's definitely somebody that I would be leaning towards, him and Connor Bedard, just to get them the experience, if nothing else.
Mhm.
They're both deserving at this point with the way they've started their seasons. Two young players that are going to be a pain in the ass for the rest of the world in tournaments like this for years to come. Getting their feet wet at an early age where you can maybe protect them a little bit with some of your veteran players,
Mhm.
but at the same time, know that they can definitely contribute and help you out. It isn't a bad thing. I think I would lean towards getting them out there, getting them on that roster, getting them that international experience here at the highest level.
Well, you got all that snow happening in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I can't say the same here in Seattle, but I'm starting to I'm itching for some Olympic hockey fever here going on. I don't know about you.
It's starting to kind of peek at who could be on a roster here, not just with the United States, but Canada and some of the other teams like Finland, Sweden, Czech. So it's going to be interesting. I really,
This is the Olympics in general fun.
yeah, oh yeah. I cringe a little bit with those games because they're going to be all out wars on the ice, and at the same time,
Our
those
teams,
players have to.
our NHL teams stink. What do we do? This is our Stanley Cup.
There's that, but Quinn Hughes still
For
does
those
have
unaware,
some.
Jets fan,
Yeah.
Canucks fan.
Yeah, Quinn Hughes does still have some trade value.
Yeah, if Vancouver gets into the Stanley Cup playoffs, Chris will
If big if.
he'll be the only one with a Canucks flag in the entire state of Wisconsin.
I probably do. Yeah, I flew opening night, and it's been down ever since. But only because it is football season here. That's a little bit more priority right now with
Yep.
Green Bay. So
Yep. It was I love those 4 days. I may be a transplanted Canadian living in the States, and sometimes I get homesick, but for those 4 Thanksgiving days of football in the US, oh, that felt so good. I enjoyed it very much. I guess I'll go back to me here then.
actually, this is one where I got the kind of the player and a half kind of mentioned.
Yeah, do it, please.
So and this is because I forgot about him last month, and that's Nikita Kucherov, who also scored his 1,000th point just a month earlier. So another guy that's really had a very decorated career here with a number of Ross trophies, Hart trophies, All-Star appearances, Cup wins. He's probably already achieved everything he needs to be selected to the Hall of Fame, but again, like Marchand mentioned with him, having that 1,000 point milestone on his resume, just kind of icing on the cake there. So forgot him last month. Didn't want to forget him again this month. So take him on to the Marchand chat talk there.
So I'm going to go with baseball, and the MVP votes are out. All the voting has sort of concluded for that. Congrats to the Dodgers. But Shohei Ohtani was the MVP again. Aaron Judge was the MVP again in their respective leagues. They're Hall of Famers now. So there's nothing on their finishes that will deter anyone from voting them first ballot, I think, at this point, Ohtani especially, barring scandal. But I've got someone who doesn't qualify yet because they have to play 10 years. I don't know if they'll ever have a year like this again. But right now, someone with the only nickname that would be offensive if this was on a female, the Big Dumper. Not sure who you would give that to in a female athlete. I look forward to seeing those in the comments.
Yeah, please chat. Yeah, tell us below.
Pull me away from this, Chris, because my mind's going in awful places right now.
If not for Judge, He is your MVP, runaway MVP in the American League.
Well, he almost wasn't, though. I mean, Cal Raleigh, who we're obviously talking about, was only 2 votes away. Stat wise, if you sort of like line them up, Judge, I think, was the better choice. That's who I would have voted for personally. If you go by the thing, well, it's most valuable player to your respective team. Let's also be blunt. The Yankees don't have a lot of great players. They have a lot of high priced players. You know, there a lot of the parts around them. I mean, I like watching Giancarlo bat as long as he gets a home run. But if I'm a Yankee fan and he just walks, like, you know, it's. I never understood as a kid when I heard clogging the bases. And then I didn't have Giancarlo Stanton back then either. But you know, there's certain. He doesn't have anyone nearly at his level. Raleigh, I mean, someone who else was in the top 10 was Julio Rodriguez. You know, so like there's some. I love what Cal did. Did Cal carry the team? Yes. Did he carry it as much as Aaron Judge? I honestly don't think so. I really don't. And that's more of a shot at the rest of the Yankees. But what Cal Raleigh now has that eventually will be taken away from him, because history always does. Records are meant to be broken. He broke the record for a catcher for home runs. He had the best, basically, offensive year that a catcher has ever had. He's still very young. He's only a 5-year vet. And will he have a year like this again? Probably not. If he has, though, some really good years after this, he's just set a table for himself to get a path, because really good power numbers from a catcher mean a hell of a lot more than the next player I'm going to talk about.
Yeah. In addition to the power numbers, playing a premium position and playing high level defense at that position. I know he didn't get the Gold Glove this year, but he was a previous Gold Glove and Platinum Glove winner. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, defense, baseball defense is, you know, the up the middle are considered the premium positions. That starts right behind the plate there. He had a career for the ages for sure. Not necessarily out of nowhere, but definitely more than I think anybody really expected, especially with the power numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Average was about what you typically get from a good hitting catcher these days. But the power numbers were just unbelievable, and you could tell me, because you're out there, is Seattle really I never thought of it as a home run park, but I think nowadays it really is. No.
No, they say it's not, because it's brought to the water.
And that's what I would thought too, a little bit heavier air there with the moisture in the air. But yeah, to do what he did, I think that the batting average probably, if he could have kicked that up another 20 points or something like that, maybe he would have been able to sneak in there past Judge. But hell of a season, definitely something that's going to have him on the radar and taking steps towards Cooperstown here.
Okay. Should I go with another one since I've got more?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay. So the person who finished third, a superstar that I don't want to say he's flying under the radar, but maybe is for the Hall of Fame. That's Jose Ramirez. And so I want to talk a little bit more about him and what he's sort of done the last while. Jose has never been an MVP, but he's been damn close. This year, by finishing third, that's his 6th season in a row where he's finished in the top 10. 8 of the last 9 years, he's been in the top 10 in MVP votes. 4 of these years, he's either been second or third. That's pretty goddamn good. Now, someone's looking at his complete numbers, and we're looking at, he hasn't hit 1,000 RBIs yet. He hasn't hit 300 home runs yet. But he's consistently putting up good power numbers, good doubles numbers. He's got a career slugging average of 504 right now. He's not likely to finish with that, because age will catches up to everyone. Unless you're Barry Bonds, but that's another story for another time. It's a story for tomorrow. But I can throw those career numbers aside if I compare him to other power hitters, when I look at what he's doing in relation to how he finishes each year. Yeah, we've talked about Gary Sheffield. Did Gary Sheffield finish in the top 10 in MVP voting like this? No. Grant, it was a different era.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to go by the eras in which you are. 6 Silver Sluggers, and I think also too, a lot of the voters, it makes it easier to associate with a player when he's only played for one team.
Yeah, you have what do they call it, the local media, the local fans, they get behind your candidacy. They're out there, like we were talking before about Raider Nation, how they really get behind the players they feel are deserving of Hall of Fame honors, and get on social media and talk to the people, try to educate the voters on why they feel their players should be out there. With somebody that's been a Cleveland Indian here for 13 years now, he's got that tie to the city. The city has that tie to him. They're gonna help each other and push Jose forward here. The one drawback looking at his career here, I mean, next year he'll end up with over 400 doubles, over 300 home runs, over 1,000 RBIs, probably by the All-Star break, if not sooner. So he'll have a lot of those mini milestones. But he's never led the league really in any of the big categories. He's never been a home run leader, RBI leader, average leader. He's been close. He's been up there, but never has. So maybe that works against him a little bit.
I think it does, but I'm just really going by that metric because that's something that I would look at if I was a Baseball Hall of Fame voter, and just sort of like where you finish in each year, and who wouldn't want a guy like that? And it's sort of like why I think Toronto invested so much in Vladimir Guerrero. I think he didn't receive anything for first. I know he received votes.
Yep.
But if you've got a guy who's even finishing in the top 20 every year, you've got difference makers. And then you just build stuff around it. I mean, we talked about defense again. That loaded Dodgers World Series team won on defense when it looked like they forgot. And it was a player who I can't even remember. It was a defensive substitute, just knowing don't touch that. I'm not touching that ball that got jammed into the wall.
Yeah, it's well coached there to know the rules of what to do in those situations that almost never happen.
Yes, that's when he's saying defense. Yes. Defense wins championships, right, Winnie? Yes. Okay.
Offense wins games, defense wins championships.
Offense gets you laid. Yeah. When I saw Steve Martin in concert, he was playing the banjo, and he's talking about the banjo and like I can't remember what he said, but the circular thing sort of like project sounds better, and going all these technical things about the great banjo, but the guitar, it gets you laid. That was it.
That's why he's one of the GOATs.
Absolutely. I took my wife there to see that. She had no idea who Steve Martin was.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I would think that, so many movies that he's been in and TV shows he's been on, he'd at least come across his name somewhere. That's interesting.
Asian wife who still watches only Korean drama. Yeah. I'm sure she would know the Korean version of Steve Martin. I don't know who that is, but I'm sure right now there's someone Korean watching saying it's off. How do you not know? It's obviously In Chul Pak.
No, maybe. Probably not. But we'll find out. If you know, let us know in the comments down below.
Yeah. There we go. I've got only one more up, and then I've got 3 nouns.
I got 2 more ups. They're both baseball. Do you want me just to roll with those?
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, yeah. We'll just keep doing baseball because my last up is baseball also.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Bobby Witt Jr. Another fantastic season.
Yep.
Again, somebody that's really building their career and building it fast. And, it's his 4th year in the league. He now has 2 consecutive top 5 MVP voting finishes, two Gold Gloves, 2 Silver Sluggers, Platinum Glove this year. Led the league in hits for the second time in a row. Led the league in doubles. He seems to be the real deal there for Kansas City. He's not slowing down. He's just getting better with age. 25 going into his 26-year season, so a lot of prime seasons coming up for him here, and he's going to be a force for Kansas City for many years to come here. Really happy to see this kid come out here and back up what he did in 2024 with another really strong season in 2025. Again, we talk about defense up the middle, shortstop, one of the most important defensive positions on the diamond there. And he pulls in the Platinum Glove this year. So I don't really have much more you can say. I think the MVP award is on his way for him. I think it's gonna happen for him at some point in the next couple of years here, the way he's maturing and just getting better with age. So really excited to see what he can continue to do out there for Kansas City.
Yeah, hopefully for the Royals fans, he stays there. I got to see him play this year, him and Perez. Actually, that was super exciting for me.
Yes, Salvador. Nice.
Yeah, because like that was just seems like the best guy in the world. I don't know if he is or not, but he just gives off that aura. Just you don't realize how big he is, just what a large man
Yeah.
that he is. And like, because we had really good seats too for that game. So I was so excited to watch them. Seattle won, and I got a soft spot for the Mariners now living here.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
nice to see.
Yeah. Oh, you have one more.
Yeah, and then my second one is Stephen Vogt, the manager for the Cleveland Indians. Okay. Back-to-back Manager of the Year awards.
I like that. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's a very good one.
Yeah. So, and this year, he led the Indians team back from a pretty significant deficit in the standings. I think they were.
Imagine what he did for the Guardians.
But I'm sorry.
Imagine what he did for the Guardians.
Who's the Guardians?
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. We're doing this on purpose. Never mind.
Guardians of the Galaxy? We talking Star-Lord here or what?
Apparently we are. Sorry. I try to be politically correct in these parts.
Well, maybe you're an American now.
I'm not an American.
Oh, okay.
I just live in America.
You live in America, but you're in Seattle, so I understand.
I live in the circus, but I can't vote for the head clown. Take that joke however you want, Americans. That insults all of you.
That's right. Yeah, they were 15 and a half back at one point this season. And
that's a great one.
So he led him back to back. First time since Kevin Cash of the Rays back in the early relatively recent history, 2020 and 2021. 2020 kind of the goofy year with the scheduling because of the government response to COVID. So still very impressive what Boat did. Younger manager, not a ton of experience, but he was a catcher, and catchers tend to find their way to manager roles for some reason. I guess it's, calling the games behind the plate, the thinking the game back there the way they do leads to that being a successful transition for them. So congratulations. What?
You have the best view.
The best view.
Yeah, they're the only ones looking in that particular direction.
That's right. Everybody else is looking east, they're looking west.
Yeah. I'm actually upset at myself. I didn't say that one. That's brilliant. And makes perfect sense. Especially with how Cleveland were. I mean, they were sellers. And one of their best players was involved in a scandal, which at least seems to have rectified itself, unlike where I'm going to go a little bit later. I only have one more for that, and it's another person who's not eligible yet. But anyone who has 2 Cy Young awards, your elevator is moving up. That's Streak Skubal. I remember the first time I heard that name, I was so disappointed to find out that he didn't look like someone who wanted to kill Aladdin. I did not know that was a Czech name. I didn't know. Well, my knowledge, my knowledge of Czechs generally are hockey names.
Yager.
Yager, that's a Czech. Milan Hejduk, that's a Czech. Peter Stastny, that's a Czech. Although he became a Canadian, and then his son became a Canadian. It was a Canadian, then became an American. But that's another story. Yeah, I mean, that just sounds like someone who would like steal Aladdin's carpet. I didn't know, but there's only been four. I gotta get off this here. I'm gonna get canceled. Four pitchers who ever won two Cy Youngs who've not made it to Cooperstown. Denny McLain, who was on the ballot for the full 15 years, basically was one phenomenal year, one really good year, and then mediocre the rest. Tim Lincecum, who was one and done on the ballot. Johan Santana, I think, he was also one and done. I think he was one and done, but he was just on the wrong ballot. Maybe he might have been two. Whereas I think we were looking at the other ballots, it probably would have been better for him. But and the other one is
Rocket.
I'm sorry,
Roger.
Oh well, yeah. That's not. Yes, that's an obvious one. I guess there's five. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I forgot about Clemens, but Clemens is out for a different reason. So wait. So I said, yeah, Johan Santana, right? That's what I said.
You said Santana. You said
Saberhagen.
Oh, okay.
Saberhagen, who is another guy who's ballot for a little bit. So it's a lot easier for you to get into the Hall of Fame, even if he's just average for the rest of his career. Obviously, we've seen from like players like the aforementioned four. I'm not going to count Clemens in that because he's out for a different reason, but it makes things a lot easier for you, that path. He's got still a long way to go. He's only been a 5-year vet. He's only been really good for 2 years. And we're really only drawing on 2 years of that body of work. Do the Tigers get into the playoffs without Skubal last year? Probably not.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. He was so important for them this last season. He's proving himself to be a front of the line pitcher for them. Somebody they can rely on. They expect him to take the ball, and when he pitches, they expect to win a game, and that's what you need from a leader like that.
Okay. So you've got
you got one down.
One down. All right.
I got one down. That's all I got left.
My downs are football and basketball.
Mine's football. So why don't you do your basketball?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Basketball. I've used him before. I'm going to use him again. Adam Silver, you suck. Commissioner of the NBA. Here we are right now. We're recording this on December the 1st. And he's got, I forget who, it might have been Bill Simmons, but sort of like talked about a poo-poo platter of like a trade thing. Like you got in return a poo-poo platter on a trade deal. Well, right now, that's everywhere he goes. That's where he seems to order. Yes, I'll have the filet mignon, but they give him shit. I'm going to have the chicken parm, and it's a plate of shit. That's who Adam Silver is right now, and the shit's getting more and more flies all around it. Here we are, a few months away. We still don't know what the fuck's going on with the Clippers and aspiration. Where's the investigation? Well, how's that going? Nothing. I mean, luckily for the NBA, no one's talking about it much.
Yeah, but other things in the NBA to talk about.
Well,
other scandals.
Which I'm going to get to. So we have the problem in Phoenix. So they ousted Robert Sarver for being a toxic individual, for the way he treated women on his staff. Well, the guy who they got to replace him, or sort of like, who I guess put together something to buy that team, Matt Ishbia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I don't really care. But the minority owners are now suing him because they're claiming that he's using that as the son as his own personal piggy bank, basically using his other companies to sort of funnel money. One example of that, there's piles of examples. I'll just sort of like give one. One of his companies got the naming rights for the arena, but they don't know how much it was. And if you're a minority owner, I guess you kind of want to know that, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. What'd you pay for it?
So what's going on there? So now he's got two owners that are making him look really, really bad. One, he can't do anything to because that guy, and we've talked about that before, Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers, has more money than owners 2 through 9 put together.
Yeah.
Which is, that actually blew my mind.
Yeah,
that
that's
incredible. That there's what, how many teams in the NBA? I always forget. It's 30.
That was 30.
Yeah. So yeah, there's 29 NBA owners, and if Steve Ballmer woke up with one of their bank accounts, he'd kill himself.
Be a real step down.
Yeah, for him it is, which is,
yeah,
I can't fathom stuff like that. But here we are. There's another problem with another owner just making everything look bad. TV ratings are still in the toilet. Thankfully, maybe the Cooper Flag's putting it all together. You know, he just broke LeBron's record for the youngest player to have. Well, LeBron did 33 points. Flag did 35. And they need this guy to become a face of the league because every time you've got some of these young faces, they just don't either materialize, John Morant, or there's somebody who you can't market like Jokic. Mm-hmm. Jokic doesn't want to be marketed. He's perfectly fine with that. Yeah. So you're losing that, and when your two biggest players or biggest X factor players are like Q rating. Sorry, that's what I really meant to say. The two guys who are known the best are Steph Curry and LeBron James, who are combined Methuselah. You got a problem. Gambling. Yeah. And we haven't even got to that yet. So they haven't figured out what's going on there yet. Nothing. We're not learning a damn thing. A few days ago, PJ Washington's trending on X. And I'm thinking, oh crap, what did he do this time? And it's not that he's one of those guys who got linked up with a woman. You ever heard of Brittney Renner?
I maybe have, but I can't picture it now or figure it out now.
She's just this woman who sort of like sunk her claws into him because he was a dumb basketball player. And her advice to young women is to sort of like get with basketball players because they're dumb and you can get a lot of their money. They had a kid together and PJ sort of like had enough of it and good on him. But sure enough, he had a shit game. So there's NBA Twitter just sort of like going off. Their natural reaction is, well, he must be tanking because he needs the money. And that's what you're going to keep getting over and over and over and over. Also, Adam, the NBA Cup sucks. Nobody cares. That's all.
Yeah, I heard that was going on. That's about the level of interest it was. It's like, oh, they're playing that. Okay.
Well, okay, yeah, when you win it, I mean, I'm a big Raptors fan. It's like, I'll feel the same way if the Raptors win that cup. Raptors are having a surprisingly good year, which I didn't see coming, but do we care?
I couldn't even tell you who's won it in the past.
Lakers won it, the first one, and I forget who won it last year because I don't care if I see that banner. Like the President's Trophy, President's Cup trophy. You know, the one trophy that none of the players actually want to touch because they think it's bad luck.
Because it is.
Yeah. Yes. Like, what's the point of, you know, they're trying to get some. But
the Milwaukee Bucks are the current champion of the NBA Cup.
I didn't even know that. It's how little I could give a crap. It doesn't.
Use me. Well, and I live here.
It's and I'm sure it got a nice polite golf clap when they hung up that banner. It just isn't. They've got all these problems, and you know when I'm talking to a lot of my peer groups and it's a lot of early 50 somethings, and most of us when we were going to the bars, we were trying to get them to put it on basketball because it was always like in Toronto, it's always like hockey, but we wanted to see some basketball. Those same guys, when I still talk to them, they're not watching basketball anymore.
No, it's kind of tough when you grew up with players like Magic and Bird and Jordan and Dr. J and what they were doing on the court and how much impact they had on culture as opposed to now.
Well, I mean, for us, it was more Kobe and Iverson, but still,
Yeah.
at the same time, like what do we have here when I don't know why they can't just sort of like figure out this micro betting thing a lot quicker, or at least announce something, but they seem to be getting a pass over and over because other than great journalists like Pablo Torre, there's not a lot of people holding their feet to the fire.
Mm.
And it's a problem, and interest is going to be down, and it's a shame. It is such a shame. It is not nearly as much fun as it was to watch basketball as it was like 15 years ago. LeBron was fun to watch, but that flopping got out of control. Steph Curry also fun to watch, but now every team has got you're shooting it from threes over and over and over, and the physicality is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you want to go to a WNBA game where there's too much physicality.
Yeah. No,
You knocked out someone. You knocked out 8 of her teeth. Okay, you didn't mean to do it. No technical. No technical on the play. It's all right.
yeah, I'm sure you remember the years back when we were younger of the ball being fed to the center. And, that was the big, you had to have a big center.
What's a center, Chris? I don't know what that
Exactly. A Lanier, a Jabbar, going back further, Russell Chamberlain, those guys, the game ran through the paint. Now it's, you're just on the other side of half court, just chucking the ball up. It's
Now your top centers are throwing it from behind the arc. But it's a game that is in trouble. I don't see Adam Silver doing much about it. I really don't, and I don't know what he can do about it. And some of the reasons I still love basketball is still there. I love the fact that these guys will say most of the time whatever they want. It's not always a good thing for them. Sometimes you need to have a filter, but I prefer that to sometimes the thing I always hated about hockey and still do. So, how was your game out there? I mean, like, it looks like you killed him out there with that high sticking play. Did you mean to? Hockey's a rough game there, eh? And there's no I in team unless you sort of spell it with an I.
Yeah, the cliche Olympics.
Oh God, it's awful. It's. I think that's sort of why probably for a long, long time I was gravitating more towards basketball. They were just far more interesting people. Saying that, it's just it makes it a lot harder for a casual fan when you're watching something and somebody makes a bad play. You usually when it's any other sport, you're thinking, oh, well, he just sort of had a mind fart there. Now, all right, is there a prop bet that we don't know about? Especially if it's someone further down the trough from the bottom. It's trouble, and it's not going away. And this is not the commissioner who knows how to fix it. He does know how to sort of like steal things, like rings. You ever notice how much he looks like Smeagol?
To the reference there.
Oh no, not Smeagol. Sorry, Gollum.
Oh God, yeah.
All right, Smeagol was Gollum. Was it?
I don't know, but I get your Gollum reference, so I that's up my alley here.
Yeah, he kind of the ears sort of going on.
Bald head there, yeah.
What was Gollum's original name? Wasn't Gollum? Who cares? I haven't watched those since that sort of came out. It's you ever see Clerks too?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like when Randall's sort of like doing an impression of Clerk or of a Lord of the Rings. All right, here's Lord of the Rings, and it's just basically walking. Yeah, so there's when he
walking for the ring.
Yep. Oh, there we go. When he's going to do it again. Yeah. Also, too, why at the end of that second one, why didn't they just sort of like stay on the dragon? That was sort of like anyway. And they had to walk more. So stupid. All right, you've got one down. Two.
I got it down. It's a football. So do you have another basketball down or?
My two are football. They're a lot quicker. Right. My Adam Silver was my big one, and my other would be pretty quick.
I'm thinking we might have the same one here, which is mine. So I'll lead off here with
go ahead.
AB. Antonio Brown.
Yeah. that happened so early in the month. I forgot about that, but yeah,
Okay.
that's so true. For those unaware, he did get arrested in Dubai.
Well, it was extradited from Dubai
Extradited from Dubai. Sorry.
and charged, released on bail bond, whatever, here in America.
Hmm.
Maintains his innocence, said it was self-defense.
Might have
Some of
been.
the some of the videos kind of, there's a video out there that kind of makes it tough to agree with that. Um, Obviously, he'll have his day in court to explain what the hell he was doing,
Oh,
but
that'll be
it's
great, I'm sure.
yeah. But right now, it's not a very good look for somebody who's probably had a slam dunk Hall of Fame career going until things kind of went CTE on him there.
Yeah, I think a lot of us think that.
And I think a lot of us have sympathy for him because of that to a certain point, not up to the point of potentially attempted murder charges. But some of the
the decision making he's made since the Vontaze perfect hit.
questionable is being generous.
No, it's so true.
But he had a 5-year period there where he was the best wide receiver in the league, and
Mhm.
bona fides to back it up.
Was he was the first team? Well, him and Julio Jones were the first team all
All
decade,
decade.
and I would argue that AB had the better decade.
You did.
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah,
Um, Real sad to see what's going on there. You hope that for his sake that it was what he says, but at the same time you want the truth to be what's out there. So we'll wait and see what happens here, but clearly this is something that's going to hang over him as he starts. I think he's another year till he's on the ballot.
yeah. Pretty soon, this will sound awful. For his Hall of Fame career, the best thing that could have happened is when he did those cryogenics. Is that if he got permanent frostbite on one of his feet and then never played a day after the Steelers, and he'd be in the Hall of Fame right now. Like I think literally right now, because if he never played again, so he never did play with the Raiders, and then he was
Buccaneers.
bounced with the Bucks and the Pats. How many more years did he actually play? 2?
After let me go get to the numbers here.
Okay. Now, granted, I don't know that how many more shots he took to the head. I mean, AB thinks he has it. He said it a few times that he thinks he's got CTE.
Yeah, so 1 year one game with the Patriots in 19, and then two seasons with the
Okay.
Buccaneers.
He would have been on the
Between
ballot
them,
for 2024.
yeah. So 18 was his last full season.
Okay. So he would have been on the 2024 ballot. If he would have kept his nose clean, he would have probably leapfrogged some of the other guys. It's
So
Antonio Brown. It's going to be hard, and if they could hold off on TO for 3 years, you can do that a lot easier on Antonio Brown.
mhm. So
Yeah.
right now he's eligible 2027, so next year with Gronk, Roethlisberger, and AP. So that's a pretty loaded ballot to start with there.
He's already starting at number 4, no matter what. No matter what, even though I have him as a better player than Roethlisberger, but Roethlisberger, he's got his own issues that he's got to worry about too.
Mm-hmm.
He better not be doing any more bar bathrooms from now until he's eligible.
Yeah, Richard Sherman's also on that ballot too. So
there's another. Yeah, Sherman's great.
Mm-hmm.
I that one slipped my mind because it's sort of. I'm gonna have to start writing these down just as we go through the month.
Yeah, I did that this month here, so it's how I was able to.
All right, so I guess I'll do my last 2. One is just sort of again tying back to the Pro Football Hall of Fame semifinalists. I won't belabor this one because we already did. When Ricky Watters falls off to year 20 when he was a previous semifinalist, that's as bad as it can get. The best thing that can happen to him is that Roger Craig finally gets his due, because there's no way Ricky Watters is getting in the Pro Football Hall of Fame unless Roger Craig does. And if Craig doesn't, and now they're in the same pool, forget it. Like, forget it. It's going to be that much harder. So Watters by default is an elevator down. And my final elevator down is someone who just lost a record, and he needs everything he can get. And we talked about him briefly. That's Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Cam lost the record to Josh Allen for most touchdowns rushing by a quarterback. And one of the things I always would point to when people would go down on Newton, and I guess just like as a Saints guy, I've seen so many Panthers and so many Bucks games, and I don't think anyone was, get down on Newton. I just realized what I did there. Anyway,
2027 eligible, by the way.
Yeah, down, you go down on Newton, then you might get a nice hat afterwards. He wears nice hats.
He's a fashionista for sure.
Yeah, damn it. I should go back to drinking.
It's all right.
Yeah, but 75 rushing touch. One of the things when people were against Newton's sort of candidacy, and they pointed at his passing yards. Well, okay, but he was this great dual threat guy. I mean, he'd use his size.
So big.
Yeah, I mean,
at that position.
I thought he could have played another year just almost as a fullback in some kind of capacity. Just sort of like the way he was still. I thought he still had value. Mm-hmm. 75 rushing touchdowns. That is huge. Allen has broken that record, although he's a completely built different type of run of quarterback. Their numbers right now, when you put them side by side, aren't that much different. And you could argue maybe it favors Cam a little bit. Saying that, also, because they both have the MVP, but Allen has been an MVP candidate more often than Cam was. And let's look at the hell. Cam Newton's going to have a teammate in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He should have had one already in Luke Kuechly, but the math didn't work out for that. Steve Smith is a potential Hall of Famer. Who the hell does Josh Allen have? The one who's going to be a Hall of Famer didn't do much in Buffalo. That's Von Miller. So if I'm comparing these two right now, Cam Newton just took another step back. And I like Cam, but we know that a lot of the voters won't. He's still going to be remembered for dogging it on one play in the Super Bowl for not going after a fumble.
That highlight pops up every so often. And
that's the play he's most known for. Unlike Matt Ryan, who'll have a very similar thing. Went to the Super Bowl, didn't win. There's not a clip of him sort of like it. Well, was Matt's fault? It was their defense's fault. I got to rewatch that game.
Couldn't hold a 25-point lead.
28. Was it 25 points? Was it 28?
That was 28-3. I thought that's what it was.
Yeah. Oh, I remember when I saw some Saints fans with a 28-3 thing. Like, what are we wearing that for? We didn't do that. If we did that, came back, yes, that's a great troll. It's not a great troll for us. Anyway, that's just me venting there on that stupid thing, but this is another knock against him in what is going to be a forgotten career. Not forgotten, but forgotten by the Hall. If Donovan McNabb isn't there, who I think was a better overall quarterback than Newton, and he couldn't get a semifinalist, what chance does Newton have?
Especially with the quarterbacks currently or soon to be on the ballot there that he's going to be competing against. We already mentioned the three of them this year with Breeze, Manning, and Rivers, with obviously Rivers and Manning probably carrying over again to 2027. We add Roethlisberger next year, along with Newton. And then is it 28 or 29? It doesn't really matter because he's one and done when Brady jumps on there. but then Matt Ryan also comes in 2028. So
Mhm.
that logjam there, it's going to be tough to navigate through there. Having your, I don't know if it's signature record, you really call it that,
What record he had.
but
So for him, it's a signature record.
yeah, it's the one that kind of that he could point to that distinguished him from some of the other quarterbacks of that era.
Mhm.
To have that now not be a talking point when discussing his candidacy is going to be tough. It's going to hurt him. You're right. That's a good dig there and find on that. Uh,
Yeah, it's I don't know what sort of like goes on with a lot of those narratives, and I think there's some people who will point at that. We've had the chance to talk to some of the people, but again, you're sort of like doing that to people who haven't done the deep dives, who get to vote, and that's another thing in itself. But I won't go into that. But I think that is going to be another thing. It's one less thing you can put on one less thing you can put on a yes, winning. I know one less thing you can put on a presentation sheet for Cam. Also, too, hey, if you're gonna have Jussie Smollett on your podcast and you don't actually ask him if he really did it, it's dumbass. I don't know if you saw that.
not one of the podcasts I frequent.
I can't say that I do either, but it was sort of so he was there and just Jussie was well, of course he's completely innocent. By the way, for those Cam, if you believe that, my friend Chris here, he's got this amazing oceanfront vista property in Wisconsin.
Yep.
It's always 80 degrees and it only rains when you're sleeping.
And there's a bridge from right outside my house all the way out to the island called Hawaii.
Oh, I didn't
right
even know that.
Walk right out to Hawaii, right out my front door.
There you go. Right, so I mean, like
right over the foot of snow.
Yeah, that what's snow? There's no snow in Wisconsin.
Just a foot, no big deal, right?
Oh, Cam, you were such a killer too. Still are. I was scared every time we had to play him.
Yeah, I suppose down there, being a Saints fan that you are, see him twice a year.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was like what is that whole division for a while. So you had Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, because he was still very well hyped at that point. So you had two Heisman Trophy winners of Matt Ryan, and then Drew Brees. Like, yeah, that's a pretty elite four because Winston was pretty good in his first couple of years. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there's another elevator. I was gonna use Russ Wilson as another elevator down because you just like you're so shitty that we're gonna give the job to Jameis Winston.
Yeah, but hey, Winston hasn't exactly embarrassed himself out there.
Well, I don't know what's going on tonight. I've recorded that game.
I won't tell you what's going on, but
tell me. I'm gonna watch.
Dart is quarterback tonight.
Dart's back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Well, Winston had a nice little comeback, and it was sort of nice to see. He's an interesting individual, a very quirky individual, but certainly likable. I mean, you don't hear people say anything bad about him. Just
no.
I mean, the most perfect Jameis Winston game is him throwing for 4 touchdowns, 2 of them being a pick 6,
and then catching one himself.
Oh, that's great. I love stuff like that.
That was an awesome, and being here up in NFC North division rival there against the Lions, just really hoping you just could have pulled it out there for the rest of the division there, but just couldn't quite hang on. But still a fun watch there.
I still wore my Saints jacket with pride, even though we were officially eliminated. Although I could have told you we were eliminated in September. But
you're building for the future,
not the immediate future.
I didn't say it was immediate. I said building for the future.
No, you didn't say that. That is true. Well, that brings this show to a close. Normally we promote the USA Hall of Fame, but voting will, by the time this comes out, voting will have ceased. Thank you to those of you who did participate, and by spring it's going to be up a little bit more again, nice Kirk. It'll be back. It will have returned.
Well, there will be the reveal show that will be out here shortly. We're going to record that later this week, and we're going to share with the world what the results were, who the class is. So everybody will be checking, check that out. The link will be out there on the YouTubes. So come join us for that show.
Yeah, so Chris will be there. I'll be there. Winnie will be there. I got a couple special guests lined up for that one too. So that should be pretty fun. Also, in between that, we've got another special show. Chris, Dave, and I, we've already done a like a roundup show of the baseball veterans. That vote's coming on December the 7th, but we've got a few people who, some other countries to be heard from in the United Nations. And I've invited one person is going to be, hopefully he's able to come. Someone who actually knew Barry Bonds personally. So I'm really hoping that he's able to make it.
Yeah, Bonds is on this ballot for the Veterans Committee. So I think this is a real interesting ballot to see what we know what the sports writers felt, which tower they chose to stand in. And now it's going to be interesting to see how the committee here views some of these players with astronomical numbers, but some suspicious backgrounds on them.
Yep. And also Winnie will be here. Winnie the Mini Dashend. You're such a derp. Huh? You're a derp. Well,
derpa.
Oh God, yeah. I love right now I was thinking I've never loved anything so stupid. She's looking up at me thinking the same thing. But oh well. So our usual close, wherever you are, wherever you may be, make today count because it never comes again. Take care, everybody.
Good night.